Hey everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the land on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides in the universal energies. First up, huge thank you. Been down the post office today to Kathy. I'm not saying the surname because I'm not sure whether you guys want me to put your surnames out there. She sent me in this beautiful decorated box. So she's taken the time to put all these beautiful DeMontes around, and on the top there, apparently it's a cheese box. Would never have guessed. But in this beautiful box, well cushioned, and I have now unraveled them. Two beautiful hanging dragonflies. So I'm going to have to find somewhere special to put those hanging from my shelf up the back there. And here's the second one. Again, Kathy, because dragonflies are my spirit animal. Again, Kathy, if you are making these for sale, let me know via email, and I'll pop your link on the post section. So from Cass, sorry if that was Kath, this is Kathy. From Kathy, she has sent me a beautiful dragonfly stained glass plaque, absolutely gorgeous. So thank you. That was from Kathy. So again, I'm going to have to find somewhere to pop that. And then also Gerhardt from Queensland has sent me Lemuria Found. So I'm going to enjoy that reading. It's going to be rugged under the blanket this year at this time of year, because that cold weather has absolutely come through. So thank you, all of you. I just absolutely appreciate. Do not feel anybody that you have to send me anything. I love them, but I just love your company more. Okay, what do I want to have a look at? This particular reading has crossed my desk. So the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US, has unveiled, when did that happen? It was only one day ago, unveiled a sweeping proposal to reform its rules governing initial public offerings, in other words, IPOs, and the regulatory obligations of publicly listed companies. In other words, they're making it easier for firms to have IPOs and list, and they won't be subject to the scrutiny that they used to be. So it says here, I'm reading bitcoinworld.com.in, so obviously it's lent a certain way. The primary goal is to stem the declining number of public companies in the US by reducing compliance costs. It's so pretty, reducing compliance costs and simplifying the process for raising capital. So pretty much it comes down to diluting the quality of the companies, because if there is a declining number of public companies in the US, that means that they were not reaching the Securities Commission, Securities and Exchange Commission guidelines and thresholds. So let's lower the thresholds. Yeah, fair enough, whatever. So this is what has come out from the SEC. Market observers and legal analysts suggest the proposed changes could be partially beneficial for mid-sized cryptocurrency firms. So cryptocurrency and AI, because they don't have to actually reach particular standards for them to launch an IPO. So what's that taking me to? Well, after a certain win by Sam Altman the other day, he has announced today that OpenAI, which has ChatGPT, is going to launch a IPO. Now, they're talking about September. However, with these changes, it could happen a whole lot earlier. And XAI, which is Fleon's, and if you're wondering who Fleon is, we're talking about Space Boy, we're talking about the one that steals everybody's ideas and then and then launches them as his own. The one that owns the electric cars, with the industry that's been protected by the current regime because they are preventing overseas electric cars from that are better quality and cheaper from being imported into the US. So pretty much a protected monopoly for Space Boy. But his IPO launch apparently is on the 12th of June, so that's coming up, in about 3 weeks, and is supposed to take place very shortly after he launches a rocket into space. So let's have a look. I might just have a revisit. Now I'm going to use the Golden Universal Tarot. Quite appropriate. It's got the Manipulation Magician on the front and the Rusky on the back, with the Empress, or the birth of something new, manipulation to birth of something new. But pretty much the Securities and Exchange Commission, this IPO overhaul opens the door for crypto and AI launches to happen, company launches to happen. So what we've got, guardrails here, but bruised and battered and trying to hang on. Guardrails might be flexing badly, and we've got the Ten of Swords. So let's have a look to see how, because it's a saturated market at the moment already, this crypto and AI as far as public companies, and IPOs are pretty much just a way to raise, well, it's a way to raise capital, and it's a way, instead of companies having to go to venture capitalists or private investment, they can raise the capital off the SAP mum and dads, potentially. Not real, I don't like this, but let's have a look. And then it leads me into something else about the Reserve Bank that I found this morning. So this IPO, Securities and Exchange Commission, this IPO changes. What have I got? The death and then abandoning. Yeah, that's what I was, and on the bottom after all that shuffling is we've got the Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands, and we've got the Emperor, an announcement coming out, and something being fully revealed, and the money not being available. Oh, what did I have hidden underneath the announcement? The Magician, the manipulation. What I'm getting from this is when a certain somebody is pushing up the daisies, it's a get out of dodge, grab the money and get out of dodge moment. I think there'll be some legal adjustment as well. But yeah, sneaking out from the undercover of darkness, packing up your swords and getting out of dodge. We've got this is the burden of the overreach, which means that it's bringing this idea forward is they're going to find themselves trapped up against some sort of guardrails that are in place. We've got the manipulation, or the manipulation. Look over here, well, that's happening over there, as there is an announcement that comes out about the Emperor. So this is about a distraction. The Sun card, and because I'm asking about the IPOs. I mean, this Emperor may simply be the head of the Securities Commission or something like that, finding himself fully exposed and then an inability to harvest the money. Now, the reason I'm interested in this is because already there are companies, something's going to be stopped because of it's just turning into a nightmare situation, legal nightmare situation, looking at something differently, because there are already crypto and financing, etc., companies on the stock exchange. Was it Blue Owl? Is that on the exchange that's already, or even if they're not, they are preventing people from taking their money out because they don't have it. They don't have the money to give to people. So I don't think this proposed overhaul, if it goes ahead, it's not going to last. It's going to be wound right back, I think. or if it does, it's just going to fail. It's going to fail because it means open slather for companies that, you know, fly-by-nighters to make a swag of money and then nick off with it. So it's just going to open up this big legal can of worms. Okay, let's have a look. I'm just going to have a really quick look. Three cards. The XAI launch. I said three cards, and I've got a whole swag of them here. Okay, whole swag fell out. Come on down, let's have a look. So the first card out is the delusional card. Smoke and mirrors, what's on offer is not really what's there. It's all about poor choices, deception, etc. For the star boy. But what he's also done, this XAI IPO, is that he's pretty much combined into one company, SpaceX, Starlink, and Grok into one. So this card could also imply that these various entities, probably also the robot one as well, these various entities have been combined into something that looks really shiny and blingy, but it has no substance to it. We've got then the Nine of Swords turning into some sort of truth nightmare situation, as there is no actual money there. There's no profit. Trying to keep a lid on the situation, but news will come in from overseas, perhaps, that will cause this infighting, blaming, breakdown. And then we've got the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. A decreasing trying to juggle, Peter paying Paul, as this, trying to bring forward this plan of this IPO onto the world stage. I'm just going to see what the next cards are. No, they're not telling me anything. So this is pretty much stopping at the fact that there is no, he's trying to raise, what, $1 trillion or more than $1 trillion, however much it is. But legally and intellectually, it's turning into a nightmare situation because the foundational financing is not there. Trying to keep a lid on the situation that's starting to spill out with the Queen of Cups, but there will be information that comes in from overseas, but also looking at something coming in, looking for something coming in, but it's not there. There's nothing on the horizon. Looking perhaps for the money to flow in with the IPO, but it doesn't come. Remembering that Grok's getting an absolute hammering throughout Europe at the moment. You've got this blame game with the I don't think his IPO is going to succeed. You've got this blame game going on. There's no ships on the horizon. Trying to keep a lid on the situation. All's hunky-dory, everything's fine, but you've got the 2 twos there. What do we do now for money? Where do we go for money? Looking at other options because it's just not there. Okay, so I get the feeling, entertainment only, that Fleon's IPO might not go so well. And to be honest, if his rocket ship either does not launch, if it's delayed, or it blows up on the launch pad days before the launch is supposed to be, he'll be in big trouble. I won't have a look at the OpenAI one, which is ChatGPT launch. That's in the cards. They're going to, I think, but it might be stopped. I think something's going to happen where it's going to be stopped in its tracks because reality strikes with the Judgment card. So in regards to evil connections, etc., devilish connections, addiction connections, might be some court cases or something. Back up against the wall, hasn't got the money, some sort of announcement coming out, but it's seen for what it is, manipulative, but an attempt to try and bolster it up. But we've got here walking away and rejection. So I don't think interestingly enough, on the other side, we've got the Hanged Man and the Hermit, an investigation going underway. Oh, okay, looking into the money, and then a Tower moment about the money. Pretty much six of Pentacles here, about profit. I would not be surprised if there's an investigation into claims of profit, because there ain't any. So it doesn't look good for either of them. But this is now taking me on to, sorry about the long intro, taking me on to what I actually wanted to have a look at. You guys might not be aware, and I wasn't aware. I just happened to Google something because one of my lovely viewers sent me some information on the Securities Commission, Securities and the SEC, and I don't know why I Googled this, something to do with the Reserve Bank. I did not realise that in March of 2025, so the Orange Idiot had literally been in there about 5 weeks, 6 weeks at the most, there was a bill that was introduced to the House called HR1846. Now, my guides will bring stuff to me when it's really important. And what is HR1846 that is currently sitting in committee, hasn't been presented to the floor, hasn't been voted up or down. It is currently sitting in, if I look at Bill Tracker, it is sitting in the, what committee are we looking at? The Finance Committee, something along those lines. Where is it? Oh, I can't see as I glance through it, but referred to the House Committee on Financial Services. Now, this is a bill that was brought forward by Tom M., who I will not mention, Andy B., Lauren B., and a whole lot of other different, what have we got? Oh, MTG apparently was involved as well. Well, she's now gone. One of them's Chip of the Roy, and one of them is Perry with the first name Scott. So, kind of tells you what this particular bill is. Well, what is this bill? HR1846 that is currently sitting in the Finance Committee. It is a bill to abolish the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and the Federal Reserve Bank, to repeal the Federal Reserve Act. Okay, so it's Federal Reserve Board Abolishment Act. So it was presented in March of 2025, so it's still sitting theoretically in committee, although half of the sponsors are gone now. The summary. The bill proposes to completely abolish the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and all Federal Reserve banks within 1 year of the Act's enactment, and simultaneously repeal the Federal Reserve Act. During the 1-year dissolution period, the current chairman of the Federal Reserve Board will manage the winding down of operations. Now, who was that? That's been put in. That's one of the Orange Idiots. Walsh, his name is, I think, from memory. Will manage the winding down of operations, including handling employee compensation, managing assets and liabilities, and preparing for liquidation. Now, this was never, ever, 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 ever going to happen under Jerome Powell, but Walsh is in there now. The Director of the Office Management and Budget. Gee, who's that? Is that Besant, if I get that right? I'll double check. Hang on. Let me just come back over to here. I'll put you on pause. I stand corrected. It's Vought. Russell Vought, yeah, one of them ones. Oh God, they're all as bad as each other. So yeah, the head of the Office of Management and Budget is Russell Vought. Okay, so keep going. So the director, Russell Vought, will be responsible for liquidating all federal assets in an orderly manner to maximise returns to the US Treasury. And again, one of the orange idiots is in charge of the Treasury. Any net proceeds from asset liquidation will be transferred to the Treasury's General Fund, and all outstanding liabilities of the Federal Reserve, including retirement and employee benefits, will become the responsibility of the Secretary of the Treasury. Boy, at the end of 18 months, so if this act passes the House and Senate, at the end of 18 months, the Secretary of the Treasury and the OMB director, so Vaughton, whoever the Secretary of the Treasury is, must submit a joint report to Congress detailing the implementation of the Act and any remaining unresolved issues. The board effectively eliminates the central banking system that has managed US monetary policy since 1913. So this is pretty much gung-ho, free for all. Now what this basically does is allow, I don't know, free for all for the monetary system. Like, what? The Wild West. Gung-ho, gunslingers for hire. Just absolutely. I just was, what? Absolutely. And I have no words for this. That should it get through. So is this bill, now that Jerome Powell is out of the way and Walsh has been implemented, so all the chess pieces, or should I say tiddlywink pieces, have been put in place, are they then going to bring this bill forward? And I think they're going to, with the Knight of Cups. I've been shuffling while I've been yapping to you. The Knight of Cups. However, it may find itself stalled on the floor. One can only hope. Bet your Fetterman votes for it, but anyhow. So let's have a look. HR Bill, HR1846, which will pretty much, within the space of 12 months, 12 to 18 months, if not sooner, strip the Reserve Bank and any of its oversight of the US currency. Uneffing believable. I'm just, HR 1846. Is this bill going to come out of committee and be presented to the floor? Is this bill going to come out of committee and be presented to the floor of Congress? It's all part of Project 2025, 26, whatever you like to call it. This has fallen out. They're going to do it. The Fool card, new beginning, uncharted waters, off the cliff. Feels very much like, and I was talking to one of my lovely viewers by email, feels very much like the fall of the Roman Empire. At the end there, they were printing or punching out coins faster than they could actually get the metal in to do it. And the reason why the latter coins rust so quickly is because the gold and silver content in them was so diminished. This is just nuts. It would be foolish to do so. It would literally take the US economy over the cliff. but I think they might do it with the Fool card. Challenged by end of an era. Absolutely. Now, in the top there, you've got something that looks like a young felon eyeing off against the American bald eagle, the stability of the US, the bull market, which is the stock market. Is the bull going up? I can never remember. There's one going up, one coming down. And the lion there as well, the arrogance of Leo. Not all Leos are arrogant, but you know, every single one that I've met's got an arrogance about them. But doesn't mean they all are, because it depends where your other placements are. But this is going to bring end of an era. Absolutely. 2 major arcanas, 2 yes cards. Oh boy. You've got here the foundation, the energy they're stewing in. It's going to probably happen really quickly. They need to get it done and dusted before the orange idiot falls off the twig. But it's just rash. This has not been thought through. And it's part of the trying to force the US onto the crypto and the Bitcoin and all the rest of it. This is just really rash action here. In the past, we've got the Hierophant, the Reserve Board perhaps, the Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, holding things steady. However, it could also be orders coming down, giving the keys to the Treasury to those by divine rule, etc. in the past. Oh boy. Crowning the reading, you've got the Queen of Swords. There might be, well, it's strategy. It is about an internal strategy. I was hoping it might have been legal action, but I'm not getting that from this card. I'm getting that this is sort of almost an under the cover of darkness strategy happening here. The immediate future though, ooh, they might not get it through. So the bill is presented. It's bruised and battered, it's altered, but something about guardrails standing here and refusing to be toppled over. So it might find itself butting up against the current guardrails. Externally, we got the Page of Wands. So the announcement being brought forward about this. They're going to try and spin it as super uber positive, but these cards are all going this way, that they're not going forward. They're all facing backwards. But yeah, this is about bringing this forward. He's holding this wand. They're going to try and sell it as uber duper positive, but I think it might be dead on arrival. Oh, I so hope so. 10 of Swords. So again, this is one of these, be aware of it. 10 of Swords, dead on arrival. Or is this the destruction internally, the legal takedown of the Fed Reserve? Oh, man. That's the intention. They're going to spin it as something wonderful, but it's about the internal takedown of the Fed Reserve. Oh, geez. Because these two are the same figures. This one's just got all his robes ripped off him. Oh, boy. Hopes and fears. The Star. Can be the Star of Hope and Healing, but it can also be the Narcissist. It can also be Star Boy. The outcome. Trying to get it to move forward. Again, we've got this through line where they're all holding this Ace of Wands. Trying to force it through. However, might find itself stalled as there is a request for further information. But trying to find a path forward, and it's all downhill. Shining a light on the downhill path forward. And might end up in the Supreme Court. But it's about, you know, that 1%, it's not even 1%, grubbing more money for that 1%. Pittance for the people. Inability to harvest, overreach, dark money taking effect, those that are in on the celebrating. Oh, man. I want to keep a lid on this at the moment, so just be aware. Things happening really quickly, hidden agendas. Lawmakers seeing it for what it is, so the just lawmakers seeing it for what it is, which is abuse of power, betrayal, deceit, stealing to try and prop up the greedy money hoarders, those that live in this lap of luxury, greedy money hoarders. Oh, just be aware, put it out there. Again, it is another. But yeah, that's the intention, is it might just get through, because at the moment they've got the loaded House and the loaded Senate. Is this bill? So yes, it's going to be presented. Yes, it's going to be presented soon. There'll be some legal action taken. You've got the Wheel of Fortune, and then you've got the Death card. Karma coming and biting them on the bum, and maybe forced to retreat. But I hope this isn't, again, because with the red cloth, I hope this isn't the death of the reserve. Because as I've been shuffling, it's all about abuse of power. Okay, so I think that's going to be brought forward fairly soon. Yell it from the rooftops. Contact your local rep, or if your local rep's an idiot, a bit of a willy warmer, and if you want to know what a willy warmer is, Google it. Contact another rep, one that you know will listen and won't put up with this, because I think this is going to be brought forward very quickly now that Jerome Powell's out of there. Deep breath. It's going to get nuts before it gets better. If you think it can't get any nuts, more nuts. There's always more nuts until they end up with an empty bag and there's nothing left that they can do. And it is part of this collapse of an empire. I hate to tell you, very much like the Roman Empire collapsing. However, the difference is with social media, we learn instantly, or with the internet, we learn instantly. Whereas the collapse of the Roman Empire took a long time because the news had to travel by horseback or by walking. So it took a long time to reach the various points of the compass. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. There's a lot happening. Catch you shortly.